everyone, my name's Maddie and today on Art Stream we'll be painting this lovely Sally the Seahorse. Just for a quick run through, we'll start with a blue wash for the background, then do the seahorse using a purple and pink, and then all the details at the end. For those of you that are joining us for your first time, I'll just show you the equipment that I have in front of me. So I've got my canvas, 2 paintbrushes, a sponge, some paints of course, just blue, red, white and black, and I've got them on my palette here that I'm going to mix them on, and I also have a cup of water and a rag. So let's get started. For our first step, we'll just need to create this light blue background that we have here. So to do that, I'm going to mix a lighter blue with the dark blue that I already have. Of course, if you have a light blue, you can just use that. But I wanted to make a nice custom color. So I'm just going to mix that to start off with until I'm happy with it. I'm pretty happy with that color, so I'm going to put my paintbrush to the side for now. And I'm going to grab a sponge to apply the color to the canvas. And if you don't have a sponge, you can use a paintbrush, but this is just a nice way to get it all on there nice and quickly. I'm going to dip it in a little bit of water first, just so it's not really dry. Obviously squeeze it out a little bit. And then just taking that color and putting it straight on. And then once it's on, we can start to spread it out. And you will notice the sponge spreads it out really nice and evenly, so that's really good for drying time. So we can move on nice and quickly. As we're doing our background, we want to make sure that we're getting all the edges of our canvas, so the top and the bottom and the sides, so that wherever we choose to display it or hang it up, that it looks really nice from every angle. So I'm just making sure that I'm doing that right now. So you might want to pick it up and move it around a little bit. For the next step, we need to start making the body of our seahorse. So I've grabbed the larger of my brushes and I'm going to clean it because I did use it for the blue, and we need to make the purple. So if you don't have purple, to make that color, all you need is blue and red. So I'm just taking that blue and that red, and I'm going to start to mix that, and you can see with the shades that I have, it's quite dark and it makes a very dark purple. So to line it up a little bit, I will be adding a little bit of white, and that's gonna really lighten it up and give it that nice, almost lavender type of purple. And you'll see that start to change when I add it in there. My color here is looking a little bit bluey, so I'm going to add a little bit more red in to make it more of a true purple. So just keep mixing that until you're happy. Stunning. I'm super happy with that purple. We're going to start with the circular shape of the head, and then we're going to bring it out to make the little nose. And we do need to make sure we're leaving a little bit of space for the eye. So it might be useful just to draw an oval there for now, just so that we definitely don't paint into that. So once we've done that, then we can start to move around it a little bit. And you can fill it in as you go. It makes it a lot easier just to fill it in as you go rather than doing an outline and then filling it all in. So now I'm going to bring this down and start to form the shape of the mouth. So we just need to curve it a little bit towards the outer edge. You can see that there's 2 lips there, kind of like a mouth. So we just need to curve the end of this line here and then just bring out another little lip underneath that, like so. And then we can bring that back up and connect it to the head. And you can see the shape of the head starting to take a form there. Perfect, so now we can bring it down and make that tail. So we're going to start from the right side of the head, the opposite side that the mouth is on, and bring that down, and we want to bring it nice and curvy and all the way around to make that tail. So that's a good outline. That's the shape we need to go for. And then we just need to thicken it a little bit, but make enough room for the belly. Now, while we still have that purple, we're going to actually use the purple for the colors of the eyes as well. So we're just going to draw a purple oval in the middle of the eye. And we also need half an oval on the outside of the face to show the other eye coming from the other direction. So just a little lump on the side of its face. And it's gonna look really weird right now, but we need to trust the process. Perfect. That is all we need to do for the purple. So we're going to move on and do the pink. So I'm going to clean my brush using the same brush. Now to make pink, we just need to mix some red and some white. And I'm going to be using mostly white, so it's a really nice light pink. And if you want a lighter pink, obviously add more white, and if you want it to be a darker pink, add a bit more red. Now we have our nice pinky color, and mine is a little bit more blue toned because I accidentally got a little bit of blue in it, but that's fine. There's still going to be a bit of a contrast between the purple and the pink, and that's all we want really. So now we can place that where the belly is and also these fins around the outside. So just placing that right there. And we want it to stick out a little bit. We want him to have a nice, cute little belly. So make it stick out a little bit. And we want to bring that all the way down to the bottom of the tail, but not bring it into the curve, but just make it touch the bottom of the tail that we've done here. Just making sure as well that it's touching the purple as close as we can. We don't want any gaps there. Once we've done our belly, we can move on and do our fins on the outside. So I'm going to start from the head and just starting with a line at the top there. And then I'm going to start doing the detailing here to give it the shape of the fin. And we want to bring that all the way down. And as we get towards the bottom, we want to make the fins a little bit closer to the body because we want to have room for the extra fin that's going to go right next to it. So that's how that should look, and now we can just fill that all in. Again, I'm just making sure I'm getting nice and close to the purple so there's no blue peeking through there. Once we've done those fins, we can then add the extra little fin on the outside here. So he's going to come down about halfway down the body, and we can draw him just in the same shape as the other fins, but just a little bit smaller. If the two fins start to touch where you've put the pink and it gets a little bit blurry and you can't tell where one fin ends and the other begins, that's totally fine because we'll go through and outline that in a little bit. For our next step, we need to give our Sally the Seahorse a little bit of shading just so she has a little bit more life in her. So I'm going in with my dark blue and my smaller brush of my two brushes and mixing that in with the purple that I've already used. That's going to darken it up a little bit. To darken it up even further, going back in with the red again. So basically just using our base colours to make the purple again. Once we are happy with that colour, we can start to put it on the purple body of the Seahorse. We're going to be taking that purple and just putting it along the outer edges. We're just going to go all around the edge of the face, just putting that colour down first, and we'll start to blend it in a minute. But I just want to show you where it needs to go first, because I'm not going to put it on every single edge. We just want to put it on one side. I'm going to move back up to the little mouth now and really define that so you can see how that's supposed to be there. Bringing that down the bottom as well. Moving along here, this is where we can start to add our little cheeky grin. So bring that up a little bit and give him a nice little smile. Add a line there. I'm also just going to add a little bit of shading around the eyes, just to make them look a little bit more three-dimensional. So far I've only just laid down the colour, but now we can go back in and start to blend it a little bit. And to do that, I'm just taking my brush very lightly, and I haven't added any extra paint onto it. It still has a little bit on there, but not much. And I'm just going back in, back and forth to blend it out a little bit onto the lighter purple. However, we do only want to do that just on the main part of the body and not on the mouth or anything, because the mouth needs to be super crisp with his little smile. That is all for the darker purple. Now we can move on and do the darker shades of pink to now give the fins a bit of definition. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing now in terms of making the colour. And by that I mean we're just going to darken it up a little bit using the original colour that we use, which obviously in this case is red. So just going back in with the red and going back into the pink and mixing that until we get a nice dark pink. Now that we have that colour, we can do the same thing with the pink, taking that colour and starting off just by outlining it. However, unlike the purple, with the pink, we do want to outline the entire thing, whereas with the purple, we just did the one side. But with this colour, we want to take it all the way around the outside. Now with the belly, we just need to add a few lines going across. And now we can move on to do the fins and do the same thing, just outlining them first. Once the outline is done, we can then go in and start drawing the lines coming outwards from the body towards the little points that we've drawn. We're all done with the body now. The next thing we need to do is add some white, and that will go in a few places, so I'll walk you through that. But firstly, I'm just going to clean my brush. With our white, we're going to start by placing that in the eye to create the whites of our eyes. So we're just going to fill in the space that we've left to start off. Obviously now we need to do the other eyes, so just adding the white to the outside as well now. The next thing we need to do with our white is just add some highlights to the body. So to do that, I'm going to start with the pink parts and put the white in the top and the right hand side, and you'll see what I mean as I go along. And we're just gonna leave it as the line. I'm not gonna blend it in or anything. You totally can if you want to. Obviously now we need to do the same thing with our body. So same thing, the top and the right, just adding those lines. The second last thing we have to do with the white is just add the little bubbles that are coming out of his mouth. With the bubbles, you just need to make the little ring shape and start to use a lighter hand as you go towards the outside to really fade it out. And as we go up towards the top of the canvas, we can start to make our circles a little bit bigger. And try and space them out randomly as well. We don't want them going in a super straight line. We do have one more thing to do with the white, and that's to go in the eyes, but we need to put the black down first for the pupils because the white needs to go over the top. So I'm just going to clean my brush. Now we can go into the black and add our little pupils in the eyes. So they just need to be small little ovals inside the purple ovals that we've already done. Try to leave a little bit of room around it so you can still see the purple, and obviously don't forget the eye on the outside as well. Once that's done, we can add a couple of white dots to show some reflection, but we do need to let that dry first, so just leave that for a minute, shouldn't take long. Now with the white, we're going to place that half over the pupil and half over the purple part of the eye for the first dot. So you can see how I'm doing that here. And we're going to add another tiny, 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 tiny little white dot just next to it, just to give another little fleck. And we need to add a little bit of reflection in the other eye as well, but not as much because obviously you can't see the whole eye, so just give it a little bit of white. And that is all you need, and we are done. Now that we have brought our Sally the Seahorse to life, I hope you're all super happy with your artworks. We would love to see them, so please tag us on Instagram and Facebook, and we will see you next time.